Hello and most welcome to 1981 of the H series. It's just merely 19 left until 2000. 2 millennia. We will be the record having triumph for the work. We will today continue where we left off in 1977 in the article Flesh for Frankenwhore. Michelle Fletcher. Last time we looked at how the confluence of oppositions built the Frankenwhore, how oppositions come in to construct something stable. Only by inviting contradictions, absolute contradictions, can something new be built, and this new is stability, the possibility of something stable. We compared it to Revelation, where the contradictions are several and how they bring forth new things, novelties. It doesn't end there. It brings forth more and more. To quote David McNeil, only in the contradictory instability can the growth point start, and it's the growth point that brings something forward. Otherwise, you will just have staticness. A fixatedness of the old. Nothing new emerge. There simply are no happenings, no bringing forward. I don't think it's a bad thing to compare to classical physics, where everything is extracted from the old. It has to be understood by the old, measured by the old. All is either material or different sorts of fixations in the Cartesian net, x, y, z, and the movement is only a straight line going from T1 to T2, caught in the grid of x, y, z. No life, no humor, no happiness. Everything is fixed. Very much the left hemisphere take on reality. Something limited already from the outset. Decided in advance. It's typical of the left hemisphere because it grasps. It already understands what it is supposed to understand. It's only in the old categories, the old divisions, where it is being understood. Nothing new can enter. And it lacks energy. It doesn't have this freshness that can only come when you have the instability, the confluence of opposition as Ian McKilkis calls it in one of his chapters. I will now continue to read on page 157. And we are sort of mid the first paragraph. The last words are rather crude. Who is stripped, eaten, and burnt, verses 16.
Yummy, yummy.
However, this similarity is easy to miss if only reading scholarly interpretations of Babylon's end. Indeed, the general consensus is that we should actively resist such gory readings. Gory, fun word. By the time of her destruction, she is only a city/system being attacked. Attacked. Oh dear. This nothing to fear, no blood approach is perhaps epitomized by Beale's section title, At the End of History, God will inspire the state and its allies to turn against the economic religious system in order to remove its security and destroy it. Destroy it. Oh, sorrow. No blood, no gore, and certainly no flesh. To demonstrate the validity of such sanitized readings, Rossing carries out a detailed study of the terms used to depict the whore's destruction in verse 16. She concludes that Babylon is all city.
All city.
All city. Because in the Hebrew Bible, these terms are most frequently used against cities.
Cities.
Cities. However, as we have already established, the text urges the audience to refrain from leaving the image of a woman's body behind until after her destruction. Destruction. In light of this, we now ask whether the terms used in verse 16 can be seen as fitting the destruction of a woman's body rather than a city.
Rather.
A city.
Rather than a city.
And a city. Verse 16 describes in detail the stages of the whore's destruction carried out by the king's horns, who had previously had sex with her. She will be made desolate, or rather made barren
Baron.
and naked. Gimini, Gimnin. She will have her flesh eaten. Fagota, Fagonta,
Fucking.
Fagonte, and finally she will be burnt. I won't read that. And the 10 horns which you saw, and the beast, these will hate the whore, and they will make her barren, depopulated, and naked, and they will eat her flesh, and they will burn her with fire.
Eat her flesh. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Fire, fire. Let us begin with the most fleshly of descriptions. They will eat her flesh.
Yummy, 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 yum, 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 yum.
Ta sarkas aftis fagote. There is nothing which points away from the body in this term. The object of the action is flesh,
Yummy, yummy.
sarkas,
Sarcas.
and the phrase itself generally refers to consuming something which has been alive.
Yummy, yummy.
Alive!
Alive. Alive.
Even Beale points out that she is devoured like a victim of a wild animal. The element of her punishment can clearly be aimed at the physical body and is more appropriate when directed at flesh
Yummy.
rather than figuratively at a city. Indeed, this term is tellingly overlooked in Rossing's analysis.
Ouch, ouch. Overlooked. Ouch, ouch.
Burning with fire can be aimed at a city, but it can also be done to the physical body.
Cold.
It is precisely what was ordered in Leviticus 21:9 for the daughter of a priest accused of harlotry.
Ouch.
Harlotry. Beals sees a similarity to the burning of the houses in Ezekiel 16:41 and 23:47. But Orn reminds us that this image is used regarding the burning of the survivors in Ezekiel 23:25. 25, indeed. Making Gimini or Gimnin naked can be used figuratively to mean uncovered, but is obviously primarily an action done to a body, making it naked or bare. Bear, like a beer, or a bear, or a bear. Beale points out that Babylon is stripped like a whore,
Oj.
indicating that this punishment has overriding bodily connotations. Rossing lists many places where gimnin is used figuratively, but has to admit that it is primarily a physical action. A physical action.
Physical action.
Oh dear. Oh, what? Therefore, 3 of the 4 actions can, and most often do, target the physical body.
Target.
Target the body. So it is the first verb of the scene, avimau, which becomes the battleground for city readings and appears to be Rossing's stronghold.
Stronghold.
Stronghold. I have translated it as both depopulated and barren to counter this emphatically. It occurs as a perfect passive participle accusative feminine. The preferred translation of the verb is desolate.
Desolate.
Desolate, desolate. And as Rossing convincingly shows, erimo as a verb is almost exclusively used in Hebrew Bible to represent a city or a landscape being destroyed. Oh dear. Being destroyed. What? What can we do? What has happened? Is there any flesh to be found?
Yummy. Oh no, no flesh.
Even when the subject is a city, the verb itself does actually have a wider meaning, not only of being desolate, but also of being depopulated. As Orn points out in relation to the whore, since the whore is a city, the phrase irimenin
Irimominen. Poisusin.
Peususin auftin, they will make her desolate, that is, depopulator is appropriate.
Appropriate.
Appropriate. However, the verb does not presume that the subject is a city alone, It is used also of persons to mean also isolated, bereft, or stripped bare. Oh,
Bare.
stripped bare.
Bishop Barrow.
Likewise, the cognate adjective erimos can apply to landscapes, cities, and
People.
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 When referring to people, it can mean desolate, deserted, a childless woman. Gal 427, an example of the letter which speaks of how those women who are desolate will be greater than those with children. Oh, why? So weird. Why? This is a direct quotation from Isa 54:1, Septuagint, in which the word relates to both spera, barren woman, and implicitly chira, widow, bereft one. Philo of Alexandria uses the term alongside sterile and childless. Poor one. Thus, this term has a fleshly quality.
Fleshly quality.
About it involving both being isolated as a body and being childless. In Revelation 17:16, irimomenin is a passive participle. So this is not something intrinsic to the whore, but rather something that will be done to her. Done to her. As a participle, it carries an adjectival sense alongside gymnin as objects of they will make her poisosin. Thus, if we look for a fleshly resonance.
Fleshly resonance.
Fleshly resonance. We can see there are indications that her body is being made childless, barren, or to put it even more graphically, as On does unwittingly, she is being depopulated. Depopulated. She is isolated, desolate, and she cannot now bear children. This term, when read with a woman's body as the target, can have the sense of damaging the body so that no child dwells in it any more, nor ever will again. Again.
No.
Therefore, in its totality, the punishment can be seen as her being made barren, stripped naked, eaten and burnt.
Eaten. Yummy.
This can be read as the most embodied of punishments, which is overlooked when the body is cut up and made safe as a symbol of a city. We can see that there is a clear fleshly reading of not only the body of the whore, but also her bodily destruction in a similar gory way to that of Frankenstein's females. Lots of blood, lots of decay.
Decay.
Decay!
Decay. Hooray, hooray.
Therefore, we now ask if there is also a fleshly threat to fear from the whore lurking in the narrative of the book of Revelation, which has been overlooked by nothing to fear. Symbolic readings. Readings.
Readings.
We have explored the original text of Revelation 17 to uncover the body of the whore.
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 We now turn to the original text of Frankenstein
Fine.
and its portrayal of the female monster to assist us in understanding the very real threatening nature of the female body.
Cliffhanger, cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, so exciting.
Perhaps we should leave a part here.
Maybe just a little bit more. 6. Revelations Frankenwhore. A Frankenwhore.
Frankenwhore.
Despite the creation of filmic female monsters, Mary Shelley's original text actually has no animated female.
Animated female.
In the novel, the monster persuades Frankenstein to create a mate. And so Victor resumes his work to create a female. Female. However, late one night, while toiling over the female body, Victor sees the male monster smiling down above him and realizes the terrifying threat of the female. Oh, bloody hell. Upon this realization, rather than carry on with his work, trembling with passion, I tore to pieces the thing on which I was engaged. The thing is, of course, the female. Female. Ha ha ha. Why does he feel the need to tear her body to pieces? To pieces. He presents several reasons, all revolving around her future autonomy. She might delight for, for its own sake in murder and wretchedness, or might turn with disgust from him, the monster, to the superior beauty of man. Or worst of all, she may propagate terror. One of the first results of those sympathies for which the daemon thirsted would be children, and a race of devils would be propagated upon the earth, who might make the very existence of the species of man's condition precarious and full of terror.
Terror.
There we stop.
Really?
Yes,
It will
terror.
not bring us per lucky terror.
I don't think so. We will be lucky as we've been.
Page 161.
161. Oh, this. Pause there. And I start again. And we go to page 157. The end of the first paragraph. There's some very interesting detail, something that is usually not to my knowledge, which I notice now. I think my colleague here is probably much more aware of it than I am, but it's still very interesting. It's a little detail here how everything gets put into order from the reading. And as a conclusion, it's a bit funny. No blood, no gore, and certainly no flesh.
Oh
no. To demonstrate the validity of such sanitized readings, Rossing carries out a detailed study of the terms used to depict the whore's destruction in verse 16. So the whole thing is she sanitizes the text, which is very common apparently. Maybe I heard something of that before. That it is very interesting because it's very close to how we discussed in David McNeil. With a sanitized reading or whatever sort of arranged reading, the arrangement comes from I need to understand this with things I already know, using those things as tools. It's very Newtonian. So I can imagine Rossing's writings are full with references from the old. All the conclusions are supported by the old. What have you learned in this series? We have learned nothing comes from the old. You don't learn from the old. You need to have collisions, instability. Only then can you have learning. You cannot add up old stuff because you end up sanitizing, fixing. Your own desire will decide what you get instead of the new, which is actually reality. There is nothing of real in the old. It's a fixated point of view. It's a Saussurean idea world, which is emotional and subjective. It doesn't carry anything. So in David McNeill and also Wittgenstein, we learn that, well, also Derrida for that, there is no meaning without difference. If it doesn't differ, nothing happens. Just starting with a text in any article will bring it down. You need to take the whole context, and that includes difference or instability. This is one of the most limiting things, but it is also the way of Ayer, Georg Henrik von Richt, and also Evans, 1, 2, 3, that we brought up in the Eugene Fischer article. So it's not only fleshly, it's fishy, like Fisher. This is going to be a bit short. We're going to do some other stuff here. I would just take one more quote. And therefore, this is on page 160, if you may, Kalle.
Yes.
The third paragraph, 8 lines down, something like that. Therefore, we now ask if there is also a fleshly threat to fear from the whore lurking in the narrative of the book of Revelation, which has been overlooked by nothing to fear symbolic readings. On the outset is decided what the world is. In Newtonian physics is XYZ from the beginning, without making any experiments, without nothing new. Actually, all experiments and learning in reality is new. Not any quantum experiment looks like the other one. They are actually new ones, because reality has the quality of newness. The nothing to fear is a twisted, where you try to put reality into a grid. I think we mentioned that in a lecture we had at the pub in Stockholm. I don't remember the number, but I spoke about the structuralist grid.
Yes. Salmon.
And it had a lot of connection to Levi-Strauss and all that. The idea that you can have a preemptive grid to put everything into. Nicely ordered, like you put cutlery into a cutlery box. Forks and knives and spoons separated to the little spoons and other things. It's a twisted, thwarted reading that doesn't take newness and instability into connection. Therefore, it doesn't tell. It's a D-tone voice. But of course, you can read it quite differently and bring something else in. So why not bring fishy in with fleshly? But more about that later. Kalle, please join.
Let me return also to 157, the starting page of today. Even with the same phrases that you read now a second time, namely about the Peele's section title. At the end of history, God will inspire the state and its allies to turn against the economic religious system in order to remove security and destroy it. So Fletcher is correct that Babylon is always a symbol. Most common symbols are like Rome, or Jerusalem, Tyre, or the ancient city of Babylon in today's Iraq. So people, scholars have tried, and theologians have tried to establish what is this Babylon, and they have spilled so much ink on that question. And this paper by Fletcher goes to the origin, so to say, to the woman itself, to show that there's already instability in the very image of the woman. That she's also a woman. And
Stitched together with different details.
yes. And perhaps what is the original woman?
What's an original man? What is an original saying? Yeah, that's the question.
It could be like this. In my head comes this image of the old Babylon, of 2000 or 3000 almost in Mesopotamia. Of this, you have these ziggurats. Imagine there was a prostitute woman there up, and there you had a priest representing the god go and have sacred sex with her. And that could be perhaps the original sense of this woman.
Could well be, yeah.
So, but we are then returning to the origin question. Where is the origin? I think that intermingled in that case. Actually.
Yeah.
So yes, we need both.
We need both.
A literal woman, prostitutes, and acid. So let me. Could I not find the image of Babylon and a ziggurat? I don't know ziggurat. 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 I spelled it completely wrong, but there you have it.
There you have the ziggurat.
Ziggurat Babylon. Babylon. Let me see.
By the rivers of Babylon, where I belong. Remember.
Where is the Babylon? Let me see the Babylon one. Babylon. There's no image of the Babylon one. No image of the Babylon.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Ziggurat image. Let me see. This is of course a reconstruction.
Now you have a lot of them. Yeah, nice one.
Babel, the gate of God.
Beautiful. Should we?
Let's enter.
Thank you very much, Kalle Lundahl. Thank you very much, Michelle Fletcher. And thank you for listening in. Have a beautiful morning, day, or afternoon. Bye-bye for now.
Fletcher for flesh.
Fletcher for flesh or fishy.